Alright, yeah, welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today we are jumpstarting once again. So without further ado, 2,000 gold in, and let's see what we've got. We have picked Chandra before, but we've picked all of these, so I guess I'm just going to have to go back in at Chandra again. Then again, heavily armored. We did play this pretty recently, but another shot at Machias. He's not the worst thing in the world. I'm pretty sure Dinosaurs has got no value for me anymore. This is actually the first time we've ever had a triple that I have not been able to pick one I haven't played with yet. I feel like you've just got to go Chandra. Chandra's pretty hard to get. We haven't had Elves, so I guess it's Chandra Elves that we're going to go with today. Above the Clouds would be pretty decent. I know that this particular pack is very good. Dogs, I would say, is mediocre. You want to really pick this for the basic land art. But yeah, we're just going to have to go for Elves this time around, and there's a fair few cards we could actually get from there that are pretty solid. Chandra is one of those that is guaranteed to give you the same kind of pack every time, so we always get Chandra's Incinerator and Chandra Heart of Fire. So 5 mana, 5 loyalty, tick up to discard your hand, exile the top 3 cards of your library. You may play cards exiled this way. Also has a shock on the +1, and then the -9 probably isn't going to happen. So this is just kind of a nice card advantage control piece. And then Chandra's Incinerator is another kind of control piece for our burn spells. So as far as the Elf side of things are going, our rare is going to be the Elvish Archdruid here, 3 mana, 2/2. Other elves get +1/+1, and you gain plus green for each elf you control when you tap it. And the reason you want to tap it is for Create a Hoof Behemoth right over here, and this is a card I definitely wanted from the Elves as well as the Archdruid. Create a Hoof Behemoth, 5 mana and 3 green pips for a 5/5 with haste. When it enters the battlefield, creatures you control gain trample and +X/+X, where X is the number of creatures you control. So a go-wide strategy for Create a Hoof Behemoth is essentially what we want to do, and this card's like Presence of Gond that can allow us to tap creatures to make 1/1s, Elvish Visionary to ramp into it. So yeah, we should be in a reasonably good spot. We're probably going to just hard cast Create a Hoof though, so yeah, it's going to be a weird one. But we got some fight spells, we got some burn spells, and yeah, overall, decent control and go-wide synergy. And as far as, you know, getting punished is concerned, only seeing black, I think, for Languish and things like that are really all we have to expect. So, pretty good overall. So if you do enjoy the content, make sure to like and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get to it. This video is brought to you by the generous support of our wonderful patrons and channel members that you see here. If you'd like to support the channel and get access to cool content like sneak peeks, bonus videos, polls on future content, or access to a personal deck critique from myself every month, then hit the join button down below or check out the Patreon link in the description. With all that said, let's get into the gameplay. Okay, turn 1, we are doing nothing, but I think that's okay. Yeah, that's fine. This sounds okay. It's nice and low to the curve. We've got the thrill of possibility to get rid of anything that we might not need. Crushing Canopy is actually going to be a pretty good card here, actually, because our opponent is playing Angels. We're going to name red. So, yeah, I was thinking if our opponent doesn't have enchantments that we're going to care about in their deck choice, or flyers, which, you know, they do have both as far as I'm aware, then that might have been okay. So, as far as plays are concerned here, I think we just lead off with Young Peasy, since the likelihood is that we're going to do either Pillar of Flame or Thrill of Possibility next turn. I kind of want to wait on the Dwynen's Elite for a little while. And we got a Titanic Growth. Our opponent's playing Linvala, Keeper of Silence, 4 mana, 3/4. Activated abilities of creatures your opponents control can't be activated. Actually, that does hurt us a little bit. Our Visionary and our Archdruid don't do anything for a start. I think we just want to destroy a flyer. Goodbye, Linvala. So Young Peasy makes an Elemental, and we get on through. If we had better removal, I might have gone for it. I suppose maybe we could have tried to get them with the Titanic Growth on Young Peasy, but I think that pretty much just kind of gives away what we're doing, and it's very unlikely to happen. Would like a Hungry Flames or a Flames of the Firebrand. Skyway Sniper's not the worst, though. Alright, so we're going to get in. Opponent's got Kells from, I think this is Minions. So they've got the, I think, the aristocracy style one with Kel's Fight Fixer. And we're going to get in. If our opponent does block, then we go for the Titanic Growth. If they don't, we go for Skyway Sniper plus Dwynen's Elite and go wide. Okay. Not too bad, not too bad. So what we really want now is... I mean, the nut draw is Elvish Archdruid into Crater Hoof Behemoth, essentially. Bone Picker gets killed by Pillar of Flame, which is not too bad. They do have Kells open, though, to sacrifice. Ooh, this sacrifice another creature? No, it's sack itself. Okay, well, I think we're going after Kells here. So the way we want to do this is, I think, Pillar of Flame. Get that trigger already on, because this will say when it dies, it exiles it instead, which would get around any recursion effects they might have that I think the Minions deck does have a little bit of. And now we can actually go with Fanatical Firebrand here, or force our opponent to block with it as well. So we'll go for the forced block first. Let's go Dwynen's Elite. I think we get in with our tokens. We do that. Sweet. So if they block like this, they're going to lose their Kel's Fight Fixer. So I'm guessing they're just doing a block and sack. Sacking their Bone Picker as well to draw a card. Okay, that's not really what I expected. I guess now it gains Indestructible, so it's, you know, it's fine. Also works for me. And we'll do... in that case, I guess a Thrill of Possibility discards the Fanatical Firebrand and look for a land drop instead. Cool. Did actually forget there was Indestructible on here for Kells specifically. Stopped reading after the bit that says they draw a card when things die. Alright, Witch's Cauldron. So if they don't have anything to sack, I mean, they do have the Guardian Idol. That's a given. But we can essentially force them to sack it, I guess. And we'll go for like a Titanic Growth here. 1 damage to a creature with flying. We want to keep that around for the Angels. Okay. So they're going to block and block. And we're just going to force them to go for their sack here. Doesn't matter which one we go after, as long as we just go after one of the blocked ones. To force Kells to be indestructible. We've got nice constant pressure going as well, so we should be in a reasonable spot. Next turn, land Chandra's Incinerate is not too bad. There's their tap land. So it costs 3 for the Skyway Sniper. Got Crypt Lurker, so they can discard or sack a creature to draw. I'm going to do neither. And we did get our land. Okay, so we're going to go with, I think, Chandra's Incinerator here. And now that we're tapped out, I think we pass. We've got no combat tricks to pretend that we have. Is this 2 mana? It is 2 mana. They'll probably want to wait on that. Don't know if they've really got the incentive to not get the double draw, but they seem to disagree. Is Languish in the minions deck? Is that something I have to worry about? Serra Angel for our opponent. Reasonable card. This game could so easily get away from us, unfortunately. Presence of Gond. That's not bad. It's not bad at all. Just start making elf creatures. That helps us go around our opponent's board state here. So I guess we can get in with the Chandra's Incinerator since it's Trampler. So a block and sack doesn't do a great deal. We got the Angelic Ascension. Okay, so exile that and make a 4/4 instead. That actually kind of works for me. Now we've got a blocker for the Serra Angel. And I think we want to just set up. We'll put it on a token, I guess. Yeah, we'll put it on a token. That way it's not the end of the world if it dies necessarily, and we're not putting any of our powerful cards into more of an aggressive attacking state. It's like if we... Young Pyromancer's pretty much like top billing. Other creatures have Vigilance and a 5/5. Okay. Still have the Sniper plus the block though. You want to offer the trade? I'm okay with that. So we're going to block here, and then we're going to go 1, 2, 3. Never mind. Menace, they still haven't fixed the multi-block thing with Menace. So what we're doing here is essentially we're triple blocking Kells, which means they have to sack either the Serra's Guardian or the Serra's Angel to keep Kells alive. So I get to keep my 4/4 and my reaching Skyway Sniper. Our opponent gets rid of 3 tokens, which is, it's also fine. Gear up a Guide. Can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. That's not really applicable. So we'll just go with the Wild Heart Invoker. And pass the turn, I guess. This is going to be a long game. It will basically end as soon as we draw Crater Hoof with 8 mana, though. So we have that inevitability that I don't know if our opponent does. I'm starting to wonder whether or not Languish is in the minions deck. I think it's in the same one as Gonti, I think. So if they have Kells, I don't think they have Languish, if I have the right deck in mind. Okay, a 3/3 that bounces a permanent. It's going to bounce a land. It's fair enough. If you don't have a land drop to make, you might as well do that. Not really missing out on much at that point. So they have a free attack with Serra's Guardian now, just based off of the amount of mana I have open. Otherwise, I would have had a 4/4 with a block. So again, you want to offer up your creatures. So this would get rid of the Emancipation Angel. Yeah. You can usually click on everything you want to block and then click on what's blocking, but they've decided against that. And if I went with Skyway Sniper block like that, they would probably be forced to sack the Serra Guardian or the Kells. So I think this is fine. Losing a lot on board, but they're not really gaining much either. So, getting rid of the Emancipation Angel to keep their Kells and get rid of 3 of our tokens, and then we trade our Angel for their 5/5. I mean, this still seems pretty good to me. Board state looks kind of in my favor. Gonna go with the Gear Up a Guide. And they could have a sack on the Celestial Enforcer if I went in with the Wild Heart Invoker. Don't know if that's worth it, to be honest. I think I might as well just Presence of Gond. One mana off of Crater Hoof if we ever find it. So we want to have our 43% chance into our 5% chance. I think even a Chandra Heart of Fire would be very nice here. Llanowar Visionary is a redraw. Hungry Flames or Flames of the Firebrand at the right time would be very useful. Chandra's Magmuts, just kind of putting our opponent on a clock and stopping their life gain side of things, which they have on Witch's Cauldron, from really mattering all that much. Gormond. Okay. So that is a big boy. Admittedly. We are going to... immense Presence of Gond, and that's going to punish me very badly. Yeah, I should not have clicked the submit there, so there's a little bit of a punt involved. Guess I'll go down the... it's got to be the Gear Up a Guide. I think the Reach buys us an extra turn because of the Trample Gormond. But I should have done this and sacked the token. That's what I meant to do. If we were playing in paper, wouldn't be an issue. But I'm a silly sausage. Hunter's Edge. Counter on a creature you control, then it deals damage equal to its power. Oh, sweet. You on you. Opponent can sack with Kells if they want. Doesn't actually do anything, though. Necessarily. Gives them indestructible. But that's about it. And yeah, we just pass the turn because we don't want to trade off anything to an indestructible creature. Shambling Goblin. When it dies, creatures an opponent control gets -1/-1. No, my elemental token. Well, that's the end of Presence of Gond, I suppose. But we do have the Wild Heart Invoker now, giving +5/+5 and Trample. Okay, so in response to this, we're going to make our token. So we're going to sack our token, they're going to sack their thing, and we're going to lose our Presence of Gond. Which hurts. Not gonna lie, but it's not the end of the world. Land is good. Visionary's fine. Hungry Flames is fine. Flames of the Firebrand is fine. Okay, so we got a land. So we're just going to get in with... guess our Wild Heart Invoker. It gives Trample. Could just swing in with a token and not really risk much. Yep, sure. So it's going to be a block and sack, but we'll trample over just fine. Sure. +5/+5 and trample. So no damage is going to go through here. Actually, no. A little bit's going to go through, because I'm going to sack the Dutiful Attendant. Yep, we get to keep our token. They get Gormond back. A Linvala. Yep, that's very good. They're at 10. So Linvala means we can't activate the Skyway Sniper or the Wild Heart Invoker, so it's a pretty perfect prison piece for us at this current state. Crater Hoof is just a win off the top, though. 5% chance every single turn that we just win the game. Oof. Okay. Let's see. Could get in with the Wild Heart Invoker. Block and sack is just perfectly fine there. If they want to trade Linvala for the Invoker, is that fine? It's probably not fine. Yeah, I think I'll just have to take 3 damage over the top for a while. It's going to be a little bit more than that, though, because Kells has Menace, and we don't really want to be triple blocking. Anointed Chorister. Yeah, we'll take that for now. Come on, Crady Hoof. We got Llanowar Visionary. That's just a redraw. As cards go, it's not the end of the world. And there's Crady. Good old Crady Hoofy. Alright, so we should just win the game next turn. No matter what our opponent does. We'll just pass the turn with these 2 cards. In case they've got a discard a card effect. I don't think they do, but you never know. Scroll of Avacyn. So they can gain 5 and draw a card with that. So they're up to 15, but that's not enough. Everything's getting +7/+7 and trample next turn. This is why I think the Elves list is exceptionally good, just because of Crater Hoof Behemoth. I'm pretty sure it's almost a guaranteed hit every time. And yep, no blocks. We want to keep as many creatures on board as possible. And Crater Hoof Behemoth, incoming. You lose the game. I'm pretty sure nobody's cast Crater Hoof in Jumpstart and not won the game on the spot. Just look at that. I don't need to activate my Invoker anymore, Linvala. You can keep your shoddy activations. You're dead. All attack. No Settler Wreckage in this format. And yeah. I'm gonna guess by them being on -51 that one removal spell wouldn't quite cut it. I think we would have been just fine. I think if they'd have had one removal spell there, and there's no fogs in their deck, so yeah, pretty solid. Alright, well, that was a pretty long game, but you know, we did have the long game potential. I think they can draw through their entire deck, but I don't think they draw anything particularly exceptional. Unlike us with the Chandra and the Crater Hoof Behemoth, which we just have top end, I will end the game if you don't kind of cards. Hamlet Back Goliath. I used to love this card. It's not particularly good, but I used to love it. I think it's in the Smashing packs, if I remember correctly. I think Smashing goes with the Giants. I can't remember, though. I think that's the case. But yeah, it's pretty solid. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, you may put X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is that creature's power. It doesn't have any kind of evasion like Trample, though, so that's what makes it kind of terrible at 7 mana. But otherwise, it's pretty funny. I guess you could do like a Mirror March. I know a fair few people who'd watch this video that would be building that right now, that I've mentioned it. But yeah, I mean, we've got time for another game. That was a very long one, but yeah, let's keep going. Okay, on the draw, let's have a look-see. We do have I win the game card. We don't have any red mana, but we can go with... yeah, Silhana Wayfinder at least puts one on top of our library, so we can go turn 1, turn 2 at least. Yeah, we're going to keep this one. And see what our opponent's playing. What are you on? What you playing? They are playing... Predators, and oh, what's Gingerbrute in? Is it in Archaeology? I don't know the answer to that one, actually. So we don't have any 3-drops in our hand right now, so I'm actually thinking I'm gonna go with the Skyway Sniper here, just so that we can block the Gingerbrute or force our opponent to do some tapping out. That's Pirates, right? I didn't know Gingerbrute was in either of these. Maybe I did. Maybe he's in Predators. I don't know. My Gingerbread son, which pack are you in? I don't remember you. But yeah, they could just pay 1 and be unblockable for the turn and do nothing, which is fine by me. I think we're just gonna hold this until turn 3 and go with the Wayfinder instead. Turn 4 seems like a reasonable time to play that down. Alright, so Silhana Wayfinder. We do technically have red, but we'd like to find a double red for the Pyroclastic Elemental. We've got the Incinerator, but no way to enable it. So we're just going to put the mountain on top here. And do we make our opponent pay 1? Because they will definitely trade a Wayfinder with a Ginger Brew. I'm almost certain of it. I think we hold back. We don't really want to be trading creatures necessarily when we're working with Crater Hoof Behemoth as well. We want to be kind of building up a board as we go. So trading a 1-drop for a 2-drops, it's not on my bucket list. Let's put it that way. It's a shame that the green side of the deck doesn't really enable the red all that much. In fact, they don't really synergize all that well. They're just kind of high value packs, I would say. Like Elemental's just, it's fine. It's a 5/4 for 5. As limited cards go, it's reasonably solid. Okay, so Corsair Captain is the rare from the Pirates pack. Still haven't got the Pirates one yet. When it ends the battlefield, you create a treasure token, and then you get +1/+1, sorry, to all your pirates, which is just fine. There's a fair few flying pirates, I think, in here. They can sack their treasure if they like to get through. I doubt they're going to do that. And they've said no. Alright, so would I like to get in with my piling? Or would I just like to go Thriving Grove here? So I have 4-drops next turn. There's not really that many 4-drops. There's Hunter's Edge and there's Wildheart Invoker. Should I just play to them? I guess I probably should. Assume I want to use them next turn. And we'll pass with Titanic Growth on, I think. Could get in with a Skyway Sniper, I suppose. They either block them, we profit block with a Titanic Growth. Ooh, Pirate's Cutlass. Okay. So I imagine they're going to get in with that, and then we'll be able to trade off nicely. I'm pretty sure they have Titanic Growth in their deck as well, though. Must be blocked this turn. Oh, I plan to. I'm absolutely in the mood to block you. Because we've got basically +4/+4. We got a pump spell that matches your Corsair Captain, so this isn't going to go as well as you think it is. Maybe they just wanted it for the redraw. It is a thing, I suppose. Prey Upon. You know what? That's fine, because if I go with the Titanic Growth, they don't attack, and I do want to trade off the Corsair Captain here. There we go. Must be blocked if able. And it is able. And now it is dead. There we go. Nice. Let's see. We've got Thrill of Possibility. I think I'm going to get rid of the Pyroclastic Elemental here, to be honest. I want to make my land drop, and I want to play Piling off of that. And I certainly do not want to dump my I Win the Game card called Crater Hoof. So let's play the Piling. Let's get in for 1, because there's no hasters that we have to concern ourselves with anymore. And Flames of the Firebrand is actually reasonably good with Chandra's Piling. As long as we can kill an X2 and 0.1 damage our opponent, we'll actually get the +1/+0 and double strike, which is a nice amount of change. So you just give +2/+1. There's a human pirate. Would you look at that? So Flames of the Firebrand, 1 and 2. And I guess you'll have to submit and then, yes, do that. Get a little bit of pumping going and swing for 5. Opponent's at 12. I mean, Crater Hoof Behemoth just coming down, if this board state just looks exactly the same now on turn 8, is actually not the worst thing in the world. +3/+3 and trample to everything is still very good. Sailor of the Memes. And we're going to crack it to... yeah, equip it up. Okay, so 3/5. It's actually exceptionally good at stopping Chandra Heart of Fire. So I'm going to go land, Chandra. So we're going to have to do some chumping, really. I mean, we can take a little bit of damage from the Sailor if they send it. It could even be worth it just to get rid of Crater Hoof, to be honest. As weird as that might sound. Yeah, we'll take this one for now. And Fanatical Firebrand. So we can kill the Mauler with a Firebrand plus Chandra's Tick Up. I think that's okay. Hit the Mauler. Kill the Mauler. And unless they have a pump spell, Chandra will go to 1 here, which I think is okay. Should we protect Chandra? I guess we should. Let's just get in with the piling and keep Chandra on 4. And I honestly wondered to myself whether or not we get rid of Crater Hoof Behemoth here. Maybe it's just too much of a liability. We might be just relying on it too much. Yeah, so we would have lost the Chandra if we weren't blocking here. It might be time just to card advantage the crap out of our opponent. We are very close, though, to a Crater Hoof, but it just comes down as a 5/5. I think we discard our hand, and we draw 3 every turn. Wow. That's so good. That is an exceptional board state right there. Well, Crater Hoof wouldn't have done as much good. Let's put it that way. Spectral Sailor to pressure Chandra. Or just to die. We could also just shock. Depends on the quality of the top card. I'm going to block with, I want to say Dwiner's Elite here. There's a chance we could get piling to do some serious damage. It's Pillar of Flame. It's only 2 damage. So, what about Pillar of Flame on Spectral Sailor, take up with Chandra? There's a very good chance we draw creatures. We do not want our opponent having that card advantage to begin with. The card advantage is all mine. Young Peasy, Land, and Wildheart Invoker. That is a combo I am proud to have on my side. And I think we're trading piling here. Yeah, we're just holding back. Sailor of Means. Who knew it would actually cause so much trouble? Yeah, assuming our opponent does have Titanic Growth, we really don't want to just let Sailor of Means take Chandra to 1 here. Even though it's very likely that she would be fine like that. I think just kill the piling in order to keep drawing 3 cards every single turn. And we should be able to close it out relatively easily. Ooh, bounce. Okay. But we know that they don't have anything here, so Chandra goes to 1. And that's fine.
I'm flickering here.
Let's send 2 damage at our opponent. And let's just splurge our board back out. Piling. And I guess we'll go with the Wildheart Invoker, since that one can actually push through a relatively exceptional amount of damage. Take our opponent to 5. And the cost of attacking Chandra now is an open attack to return. And that will seal the deal. Dawn Treader Elk is already dead to the Chandra Heart of Fire. So that is not a concern for us. We've got the Wild Heart Invoker to give +5/+5 to whatever Sailor of Means blocks, or we could just pump around it as well. So yeah, our opponent is very much done here. Yep, this is a losing attack. And GG. So, only blocking so that I can, you know, use Chandra some more, because you don't get to use her every day. And, you know, victory is already assured, so is what it is. Even if they, like, moved over their Marauders Axe and their Pirate's Cutlass to give the Dawn-Treader Elk a little bit more toughness, it still wouldn't make it a difference, because we can still pump around it with the Wild Heart Invoker. So, yeah. Swing and win. That is our second game. These ones have been very long, but they've been very... I don't want to say one-sided, because the first one was actually a long, drawn-out game, but... You know... It's been going well. It's been going well with this particular combo anyway. Hellrider, 4 mana 3/3 with haste. When a creature you control attacks, Hellrider deals 1 damage to the player or planeswalker it is attacking. It's interesting. I like it. It's like Cavalcade on a creature. But yeah, Chandra's Elves doing pretty well. I think we've got time for one more game, but yeah, we're already 2 wins away and we could resign at any time we like, which is a nice place to be. Let's go for it. Okay, we're in. We have our I Win the Game card. We also have Zilhana Wayfinder for a 3rd land so that we can get our red with Presence of Gond to attach to it, maybe. I'm going to keep this one. I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with it. And we'll go Forest Go. Yeah, everything we're going to play in the early game as well is matched quite nicely with the fact that we're playing our forests here and not giving away the other half of our deck. Elvish Archdruid is 100% what you pick here. And our opponent's is on a white-black deck. That is Vampires. And I want to say Doctor for the Chorister. We're going to go with the Archdruid here, which gets +2 mana for us. And we can even swing in for 1 here. Be fairly happy with that. So our opponent is going to need a little bit of assistance. Yeah, it is Doctor and Vampires. Doctor Vampire. Now that is a sketch show waiting to happen. Ooh, Dwynen's Elite. Yeah, so we're going to go Dwynen's Elite. Make 2 Elves. So this is effectively free with the Archdruid out. This turn's insane. Tap the Archdruid for 4 mana. Presence of Gond. We'll attach that to our Wayfinder. And we'll make another elf with that. Next turn, we'll create a Hoofing if our opponent can't kill the Archdruid. Swift response. Okay, that's fine. Still making elves every turn. It was very lucky that they had that. They were just going to be dead very quickly otherwise. So we would have had 3 mana here. Could make another elf with the Wayfinder. And then our Archdruid is making 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana on its own. Crushing Canopy. Okay, I think we're just going to go with Girapa Guides. And we'll just tap our Wayfinder now. Don't think it makes a particular amount of difference where we do this. Bloodbond Vampire is a very scary one. So they do have a card that actually gives them counters based off of the amount of life they gain, which can be very exceptionally good on something like a Anointed Chorister. So Crushing Canopy is definitely going to have its uses here. I think that was whenever a creature dies. Put a counter on it? Okay. So I think that because they've got the lifelink, they'll probably want to swing in, and then we can instant speed Crushing Canopy and take that lifelink off. Yeah, I think we're just passing. We have the inevitability, but without making our land drops, we are quite far away from making it a reality, unfortunately. So they revitalize to make the vampire a 4/4. And I want them to swing in with this. Because we're going to quad block the vampire and get rid of the lifelink on it, I think. And then at the very least we've got something to show for it at the end. I mean, we could double block with the Girapa guide, I suppose. It's a little bit better in terms of crater hoofing. Or perhaps we just block with everything. Is there any indestructible? I guess his death touch is a possibility. Let's destroy the Eternal Thirst. No more lifelink. And I think we want it dead. We want it about as dead as it can be. So, I think we just block with everything. Opponent can kill Dwynen's Elite and Girapa guide. But it means essentially if we blocked with our 4 tokens, they couldn't just remove one in response and keep their vampire around, and we'd lose 3 tokens, which would also suck. I think although this does kind of suck, it's maybe the best of both worlds. So now it's a 7/7. And they go even deeper than I expected them to. Fair enough. Alright, well, we can get in with our 1/1. Opponent takes it, and with the Hungry Flames, do we want to leave that open? This is 5 for the Anointed Chorister. You almost certainly want to activate that if they've got nothing better to do next turn. This might be my only chance to get it in before they can do in response, though. I think we let this happen. And we get our opponent to do maybe a tap out and waste their turn here by getting them to block that 1/1. So now they pump, and we Hungry Flames. And 2 to you. Okay, that's their turn over. They've only hit us for 2. And they've had enough. Oh, man. Llanowar Visionary was very good there as well. I think we wanted Llanowar Visionary into a land. That would be 5/6 mana, and we'd be still making Elves with the Presence of Gonds, so that when we got to the Crater Hoof, hopefully 2 turns from then, by just flooding out. Hit a big land pocket is honestly what we wanted for most of this game. Once we get there, we should have an exceptional amount of tokens. Even the amount of tokens we have now is perfectly fine, though. That would be like +4/+4 and trample, which goes perfectly fine through our opponent's stuff and forces a couple of blocks, I would imagine. But yeah, that is Chandra Elves. It's pretty good. I'd recommend this combo. I think Elves and Chandra are... Well, Chandra, I think is a given, is a very exceptionally good pick. You always want your mythics out of Jumpstart. If there's a mythic that you can get from it, you should probably aim for it. Young Peasy, also very good. And the removal was pretty solid there. But as far as Elves are concerned, I'm pretty sure it's mostly guaranteed to be exactly what you see here. I'm not sure if there's any variations on Elves necessarily, but Archdruid and Crater Hoof, that's just insane. Absolutely insane value. I think maybe there's a version with Marwyn. I might be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure Marwyn's in Jumpstart. I guess we could find out, couldn't we? Got a collection... Got not collected. Marwyn. No, she's not. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I guess there's only one type of elf then. Actually, we could check, couldn't we? Type elf. And Jumpstart. No, there's a shepherd version. A shepherd version. And I want to say there's a Rishkar version. But I think that might actually be from the Counters pack. And this one's definitely an alternative. There's probably like 1 or 2 maybe for elves. But yeah, pretty solid stuff. If you have enjoyed though, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. It does help out the channel a great deal, and I greatly appreciate it myself. If you have enjoyed, then hitting that bell icon will give you notifications when videos like this go live in the future. I'm looking forward to coming back for some more Jumpstart, and hopefully you are too. But yeah, take care guys, have a good night.